Well, Donald Trump's latest Truth Social brings the 99 fire making into the real world. This isn't good for Jerome Powell, and we're back to the madness. Mr. President is not happy, and neither is my HDMI connection. But anyway, Donald Trump is now considering allowing a major lawsuit to proceed against Jerome Powell. This comes after the CPI numbers released this morning were actually pretty hot in the underlying levels. Top line was along expectations. But take a look at this. Jerome Too Late Powell must now lower the rate. Mind you, we are already pricing in a 100 basis point cut. Well, I'm sorry. We're already pricing in nearly a 100% chance of a 25 basis point cut in September. After the CPI report came in mostly along expectations, we're pretty much fully pricing in a cut in September. We're fully pricing in 2.4 cuts for the year. But the underlying components of inflation this morning had some problems in it. My words just aren't flowing very well today. Just bear with me. Super core services rose at the second highest pace in 16 months, highest level since January. They're growing at an annualized 5.8%, which is terrible, really high inflation. We have seen core goods inflation go from 2.4% on the 6 month to 2.8% on, 2.4 on the 6, 2.8 on the 3 month, and then 3.8% on the 1 month annualized out, which both of these tell us that inflation is igniting, whether it's from tariffs or from Trump's actions or from, companies being greedy, like airlines raising prices, I guess 4% over the last month. I don't know how you can get away with that, but that's kind of crazy. But anyway, now what we're getting is Donald Trump suggesting that Jerome Too Late Powell must now lower the rate. Steve Mnuchin really gave me a beauty when he pushed this loser. Wow, bagging on Mnuchin. That's crazy. The damage has... I like how because he appointed Powell, so he's blaming Mnuchin for that. The damage he has done by always being too late is incalculable. Fortunately, the economy is so good that we have blown through Powell and the complacent board. I am, though, considering allowing a major lawsuit against Powell to proceed because of the horrible and grossly incompetent job he has done in managing the construction of the Fed buildings. Oh my gosh, not this again. Stop. $3 billion for a job that should have been a $50 million fix-up. Not good. Oh no. Anything to distract from the Epstein files. Oh, I'm actually sorry. I'm just reading the top comment. Somebody's got to leave that comment now. But anyway, as you can see, the Qs are promptly now selling off on this. This was not on the bingo board for today. We were supposed to have a market that was digesting the CPI report and then chill from there. This is now a shock that you have to think about this, like what could somebody sue for and would a lawsuit have standing? This is a toughie. If it's a major lawsuit, it could potentially be from Congress or like some senators or maybe representatives, like Kneebender Polina. She'll shill her name on any kind of lawsuit, just for the memes or for the drama or whatever, to pressure Powell to step down. That's really what they're trying to do here. Is they realize the Supreme Court has told them that Jerome Powell can't be fired. So Donald Trump is looking for a way to pressure Powell out. And if they sue Powell personally, maybe, obviously, Powell, who's, I'm pretty sure he's an attorney himself, will seek immediate relief in court, suggesting that he can't be sued because, he's a federal employee, essentially. But they'll have to come up with some kind of unique way about that, saying, well, he's stealing or he's a fraud or something like that. And somehow that goes above the level of, protections that federal workers get from malpractice at their workplace, right? You'd have to have some form of court actually grant standing for this lawsuit, which I don't think would happen. However, there could be enough pressure and drama that Donald Trump is imposing around this to kind of force Powell out. I don't think Donald Trump is a man I don't think Powell is a man who cares, and I don't think he will be pushed out. I think he will be very stubborn, and he's not going anywhere. He sees this as his legacy, and this is his mission to do what he thinks is best for the economy. And honestly, if you look at the inflation data, Powell's right. It's like you've got two problems. You've got Trump's inflation, thanks to tariffs, which is very real, and it's showing up in real inflation numbers month after month now. Especially when you look under the hood, you see the fire in the engine compartment, right? Then you look at the labor market. You're kind of like, you're putting Powell in a tough situation. That said, if the labor market tanks, which I think it will, I don't know when, but I think it will, we won't have an inflation problem. The inflation fire will immediately go out. But that'll only be because it'll be engulfed by a bigger fire, and that's the fire of the labor market collapsing. So, not good. Wow. After Donald Trump yesterday was briefly talked about how medical marijuana can have its benefits, I'm not sure about the rest. I made a video and said that, be careful on marijuana stocks. Donald Trump is basically implying that, he could institute some form of federal bans on marijuana. Now Fox News is running cover for Donald, talking about how many poisonings there are from marijuana, before and after broader recreational legalization. Fox News may as well just be called the Trump News Network. They may as well just merge with Truth Social at this point, honestly. It's just a mouthpiece for the White House and quite frankly, a recruitment vehicle. It's like you go on Fox News to prove your loyalty. You shield the knee pads that you're wearing, and then you get a job. It's the greatest circular door. And I think Powell, the unique thing about him is, even though he probably will be too late with the labor market, which again will be a worse fire than the inflation problem, at least he doesn't bend the knee. That guy, he might be very wrong, especially if the labor market tanks. But at least he took it standing. So you gotta give the guy some credit for standing up to Trump's bullying here, and that's really what this Truth Social message is. It's bullying. It's bullying Trump or Powell into trying to get him to resign, and unfortunately, it's leading the shock factor of potential markets to rise. The 10-2 here is considered. Same goes for CNN and Democrats, of course. Circle back, Psaki circled right on over to CNN. Come on, folks, that's how it works. But anyway, oops. Anyway, so yeah, think about this for a moment. You've got this shock level, which I guess we can't really see right now because this stupid NVIDIA processor crap isn't working. I thought maybe that would work, but I guess it's not today. Oh, is it? No. Okay, fine. But anyway. The shock level, this is a tool right here. The 10-2 is a tool that kind of tells you what's going on with the risk level in the economy to experience some form of larger shock. Usually we're shock prone above 50, and we've been bobbing around here for about 4 months. If Powell actually steps down, this will probably skyrocket to 80 basis points or maybe even over 1%. And it's really bad for the economy because it potentially means that the 10-year yield is going to skyrocket, Federal Reserve credibility will plummet. And I'm not saying they have the most credibility, but they certainly will have more credibility than some Trump shill showing up. So it's just not good. It's not good. I don't like this. Somebody here donated 10 euros. Oh, that's nice. That's like $13. Thank you. A lot of stock market OG YouTubers have moved uneven, deep effing value, but Kevin is the only legend that's here with us. Respect Kevin forever. Oh, thank you for saying that. That's really nice. I'll briefly just respond to that because first of all, it's a very nice comment of yours. But I think what happens is if for a lot of people, when you make money, like once people get to this level where it's sort of like, oh, I made it or whatever, it's very common to just stop, right? So you kind of like disappear, you slow down, and I don't blame that. I wish I could do that. I think my brain is just broken, and like there's nothing. This is like no money target for me. I just want to do stuff, and I like doing this, and I like breaking down the news. So thank you for saying that. But yeah, I want to do this stuff I want to be here when I'm older than J-Pow and Trump, you know, in like 50 years. I want to be here. Gosh, shit. Anyway, thank you for saying that. I had the same thought that Powell will be set up, shown either inept or criminally neglectful to the point of losing his position. I mean, like, imagine they go arrest Powell, right? Like, how crazy would that be? But, like, if we don't know if this lawsuit is a civil lawsuit or a criminal lawsuit, if it's a criminal lawsuit, theoretically, like, if they allege fraud and they throw Pam Bondi after Powell, they could theoretically arrest Jerome Powell if this is a criminal lawsuit or indictment, basically, against Powell, which is insane, and really would show that we really have turned into a dictatorship. At least right now, we're like dictatorship light, and we kind of like a secure border, and you know we kind of like some of the things that are happening, although other things are quite loony. But whatever, you know, we can kind of pick and choose, right? But like, if this turns into arresting Powell or trying to pressure him to quit, I don't know, man. It does screw with what should be the greatest country in the world, and that doesn't mean it's perfect. It's still a country. It's still run by people. It still means it has problems, but it should be the one we distrust the least, and instead it's turning into one that we're distrusting a lot. Like, people are starting to trust China more than the United States. Like, what the hell does that do? What? Who would ever thought that China was cheering for a free, you know, market? And I know then I'm going to get all the comments, but Kevin, free is not fair. I don't want to go down the same rabbit hole again. We've already made the arguments here. But, you know, who would have thought that China is trying to promote a free market and capitalism, and the U.S. is basically promoting authoritarianism and firing people because you don't like the stats, or you know, threatening to arrest or you know, sue people into oblivion. This is just embarrassing, is what this really is. And it's disappointing, we'll put it that way. But the good news is you can still use coupon code JHOLE to get lifetime access to the courses on building your wealth over at meetkevin.com. J-Hole obviously refers to Jackson Hole coming up, where Jerome Powell will be giving a keynote speech. That's when the coupon code will be expiring. And so you could use that to get lifetime access to all the courses on building your wealth, the Alpha Report, all 8 courses, trade alerts, Alpha Report every morning the market's open, and much more. So yeah, check that out over at meetkevin.com. Would love for you to join.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.